Hello, everyone, and welcome to another round of Parenthood's live show. I'm your moderator for today. My name is Lilisha, and I'm the editor of Parenthood magazine. So today is a very special day because we'll be celebrating Father's Day on Sunday. So we have a few guests today to talk about fatherhood and the struggles and the joy of being a father as well. So for those of you who are watching, please share this post with your family and friends. And if you have time, you can also create a watch party and watch together as a group. Okay, so for those who are here, can you guys comment below? What do you wish your husband did more when it comes to parenting your kids? Okay, so I'm not sure if there's a lot of mummies here or more daddies here. So comment in the comment section below. Just say hi, because when you say hi, I can be able to see your names, and so we know that if there's more mummies and we know more daddies on the show. Okay, so without further ado, are you ready to have our guest on the show? Say yes in the comment section below right now. Yes. No one? Hello? Anyone in the comment section? Hi, guys. Okay, there seems to be a lot of people who are very shy to type out. But anyway, guys, if throughout the whole show, if you want to comment, feel free to write down your comments, because we'll be able to take your comment and put it on the screen here, right here, okay? So without further ado, I'm going to invite our first guest on, and that's Mr. Vince Chong, singer-songwriter, music producer, vocal coach, and MC. He's also a daddy. Daddy Vince, huh? Daddy to Eva and Tyler.
How are you, Lily?
I'm good. Okay,
Hi,
so
good.
hold that thought, Vince. We're going to invite another guest, and we have Nazrudin Rahman, host, actor, and entrepreneur, daddy to Zara, Zakri, and Zaid. Hi, Abang Naz.
Hi, apa khabar, Lily? Assalamualaikum. And now that Vince is an MC already, I
Hi,
can
Naz.
Habis lah, MC, how?
Well, you're still as jumbo as ever, so good luck, man. Man.
Kaku
Hello?
pula. Okay, Vince. Can
I'm
you
so
hear
touched.
All right. We have one more guest to come on the show, and we have Mr. Chin Peng Hon, who's a parenting guide and educator. Hello, Mr. Chin.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you for being with us today.
It was your ways.
Yes, because we know nothing.
Yes, okay. For all you guys who are watching, Mr. Chin has actually 2 boys, and they're all grown up now, so we can definitely learn from him today, okay?
Yeah.
So I want to start off today with generally on parenthood, right? Because generally parenthood is really tough for moms, for dads. It doesn't matter. I mean, we don't have a guidebook when we become parents, and it's amazing because in just one day, when your wife give birth, your life changes in a second, just like that. Kan? So I want to ask Vince first. What was it like the first day your wife gave birth, and then the first day you became a daddy?
Well, the first thing it started from this pen that said, "Your life is over." No, it's not.
That's when you have huh?
No, but you know what? I think I don't know whether all dads can connect with this, but it didn't really sink until like a couple of months later or so. Like it's like, whoa, this is really happening. You know, I'm a dad. You know, and then it's like readjusting to new responsibilities. You know, I mean, we were well prepared. I'm sure, like first time parents who don't know anything about parenthood. You know, we see baby fair, let's save costs. You know, and then we like crowd. Then we see all these other clueless parents don't know what to do. And so this must be the right place to go. Let's go and start buying, and then come up with all these pampers, everything. And it's like really we're going into unfamiliar territory. You know, but it's like. It was surreal, very surreal. Going to frequent trips to doctors and talking about, you know, your kid's poop is going to look like this, then it looks like that, and it changes, and it's like, no, really. I mean, like for me, it's the reality that didn't sink in until you connect, and the moment that they connect to me, when my daughter started murmuring, she was like, she looked at me, and the eye locked, the eyes locked, and she looked at me. And my wife left me. I mean, she left the car. She was out. It was just me and my kid. And she looked at me, and I looked at her, and she just went, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah." And I'm not kidding you. I lost it. I teared.
Aww.
I teared. I'm sure you connected with. I don't know whether everyone has that. I'm sure they
Yeah,
do, but it's.
I think yeah, I've experienced that before. The first time my son actually said "I love you, mommy" just out of the blue. Whoa, yang tu
His
memang
first
like
words. Wow.
no, not to say his first words lah. Tapi when the first time he actually mentioned just out of the blue, "Oh, I love you, mommy," I was like, whoa, that's something new.
That's special. That's
Yeah.
special.
Yeah. So what about you, Abang Nas?
My experience is a bit different from Vince. We went into it as methodical planners. My wife likes to plan. I like to plan. We're producers. We produce content, so everything must be ta 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 ta.
Yeah.
So we
I
before.
noticed you anak punya birthday pun like 2 years apart. Is that planned?
Yeah.
Like 2 years now.
No, you plan, but it's always God's will,
Of course.
So
Yeah.
we accept it as what it is. But one thing's for sure, we had a miscarriage first. It's not our first pregnancy. So after the second pregnancy, we were really careful. I made sure treat my wife with kid gloves, plan everything, got emergency plan, got plan A, got plan B, got plan C. But when the actual day came for childbirth, I have not slept for 24 hours. I was chasing a deadline. I had to send tapes, and the first episode was coming out in 1 week's time. So I just got home, just marking my stuff. You all not enough sleep. You all cannot think. You all go home. So I went home. My wife came up to me. My water broke. Oh, okay, let's go. Like took the emergency straight away. Went to the hospital, and it occurred to me, this is happening. This is really happening. And when my daughter was born, that was the moment. That was the moment I knew I would be this tired forever.
But that's true. I mean, yeah.
I want to
At
ask
least
you.
you went straight.
I want to
You
ask
went
you.
straight to that. Continue, ask Mr. Ching.
Yeah, he's got 20-year-old kids. Does this ever stop this feeling of tiredness?
When they're older, maybe.
I think it gets better. I think
Yeah,
that
you sure?
when they're born, naturally it's a lot just oversight, keeping them safe, providing. But that bond that you develop with them when you're young, that's what's important.
Yeah,
So that
yep,
at age of
agree.
20, they can still come to you and say, look, Dad, I've got a problem. Because if you don't have that bond, sometime along when they get older, primary school, secondary school, their friends are going to have a bigger influence on them. They're going to look to their friends and say, I've got a problem. What should I do? They'd rather go to their friends than come to you. So if you develop
This is the
that
time to embrace
relationship
them,
when
huh?
you're young, you will always have that. So, we were just chatting a while back that the role of fatherhood, it never ends. It just evolves, differently.
Evolve.
Yeah,
I like that word. Thank you, Sifu. Thank you.
never ends. Okay, that's also right.
So, Mr. Chin, how do fathers play a role in a child's life?
This is so interesting because there's several things I thought was always very important for the kids when they were young, and I thought the three things they need to learn. One of them is learn something musical, learn a musical instrument, because then you have a friend for life. You'll never be lonely. So when my son left for the US, I bought him a guitar and then he took it with him. 4 years ago, during Father's Day, he wrote me a song.
Wow.
And that song,
Vince?
it's so meaningful because it says this song is for men, raising men like us, he and his brother.
Oh, tear time. Yes.
Yeah.
Fist bump down.
So touching.
Yes,
Yeah. So
yes,
when,
fist bump me. I'm up here. Oh no, I gotta go to that side. Okay, fist bump corner. Nes, give me one.
Okay, 1, 2. Push.
No, Nes, you up. You gotta fist bump upwards, bro. Up. You gotta go up.
Oh, the screen.
Yes, okay, you got it.
Ayo.
so when I
But that's
unpacked that,
very good.
when I unpacked that, what he says about this is for a song for men, raising men like us. So he at some point acknowledged he's become a man from a boy. He doesn't see himself as a boy. So I'm a man now. But
That must be a
and yet,
very proud moment.
yeah, I still remember this lyrics. It's carried me for a long time because it gives me a perspective of not how I see myself as a father, but how my son sees the role I play as a father. So in spite
That's
of
very
him being a man, I still have a role for him. I play a
The,
different role.
the thing
And
is,
then
different
there's
fathers and different parents have different ways of telling their child how they love them. Like my dad never would, they won't say like "I love you, son" and give a hug. You always see this on
Yeah.
movies and films and all that. So I
Yeah.
think like everyone's dad, they will have a different way of showing love. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, and then the next day you want to eat wonton noodles, I come. It's that like it's everyone has a different way of parenting, right? So for me, like I mean, I'm not saying that my dad wasn't like that, but he had his own way. He has his own way. Like strict is strict. Like man, you will run. Like
Mm.
anything in the hand. He could have been a baseball player, man. Anything throw or shoot, no one. Like stay on Nas. You know what I'm talking about, man.
Oh yeah, magic
So,
hands.
but I don't regret all the punishments that I received because, like, I think there are things to talk about later about understanding what it is more like to be a parent when you go through it yourself. You're like, oh my god,
No lah,
my
I
kids
think
are even
you,
teenagers.
you deserve it lah. You were a naughty kid, I know.
I was.
Huh?
But man, it really helps you. It really molds your character, like I mean, like you really fear. You need to fear something. You need to fear
Mm.
something.
But what
So
Mr.
I think,
what Mr. Chin said about evolving as a parent, actually,
yeah,
not just evolving as your kids grow up, but evolving as the times go by. Because let's face it, many of the challenges that children face nowadays, our fathers, their grandfathers never even heard of.
Yeah.
And so with the
Exactly.
awareness of so
so
many things now, how men are treating women and how men must play a very crucial role in raising men. Like Mr. Chin said, when his son turns into a man, what kind of man is he going to be? Is he going to be one that respects women? Is he going to be one that respects people? Is he going to be a gentleman? So
Yeah.
when we talk about evolving as a parent, also across the times lah. Nowadays with the
Exactly.
internet and what we expose our children to,
very
that
true, very
wise,
true,
we
very
as
true.
fathers must evolve as well.
so
Yeah.
Daddy Vince,
Okay.
does your father treat your children better?
Yes,
Of
it's
course,
not fair.
it's a vicious cycle. You know why? When I was young, my father wanted to beat the fuck out of me, and my grandpa stood in the way like, no, no. And then I don't know whether it's like this. This will make you like like I was like, oh my goodness, I can't discipline my own son. My father is like giving him stuff, and it's like, so I don't know whether it's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle because he does treat my kids like, and he would tell me if I scold my daughter, what is like, hey son, talk nicely. I'm thinking what?
Last time you never
But
took
it's
my
true. It's true.
last time your head
I think the role of grandparents and fathers
Right.
is totally different.
Right, exactly. Because one time a grandma came to see me, and she said, she was worried about his grandson, very playful. And you tahu ke, dia punya grandfather ni professor tau, tapi budak ni selalu main. So she was getting worried. So I said, what do the parents think? They say the parents relax aja. So I said, well, your role as a grandparent is to love them as much as possible. The academics, leave it to the parents. That is their role.
Look
So
like the good guy.
that's why all the grandparents are like loving our kids like crazy, right?
Then she thought about it. She said, ya tak ya juga ah. True lah. Kenapa I
Yeah,
pula stress?
but sometimes
I punya masa dah lepas dah.
it does drive a wedge, Mr. Chin. You're trying to raise your child a certain way, and of course, maybe your parents had a different idea. And I've been of the opinion that there's no reason why my son should not be better than me, because I've reached a certain level, and it's about evolving upwards, right? So when you're trying to implement certain things, and then grandparents come and negate everything, wow, it's stress. Oh.
It is. But like, it does create this window of actually observing like how they were as parents. When you become a parent yourself, you begin to understand certain things. Like I think like there's a point where I actually did call my mom and I said, "Mom, Dad, I love you. I don't know how you do it like this. You do understand." And it's like, I think because probably like over the years, probably they feel like, you know what, I could have, maybe the way they treat our children is because maybe they feel that I should have been like that to you guys, maybe, but I'm just too tired to scold anymore. And so it's like, but the thing is, like, I come from a big family, like for those days, big, six siblings, So like me, I got like, whoo, the whooping of my life. And then like I was the first son. So like Vanessa was first. She was on the show last week, right? So like Vanessa, then me, then you got Pamela, Daniel, Ian, and Sean. So as the years went by, my father just got more and more lenient until the last two, like the Rotan like became like this to, I don't know, just to hold things or something. I don't know, but it just never. It became that way. I'm not saying that they're spoiled or anything, but I think he handled it differently, And I think that I'm learning from other parents as well. Like even like Mr. Chin, what you mentioned is really, really good. You mentioned that the crucial time is when they're young, to really bond with them, so that they will stay with you. Because like I think like sometimes when parents are being over strict, or some are like over germaphobes and all that. I mean, in this day and age, maybe it's good to be a germaphobe, but like it's like it's scary. I mean, like you don't know how. I don't know how I'm gonna be later when I'm older. I don't know when my son becomes a teenager, when I'll just smack him like. Like you don't want to. I don't want to be like that. So I've learned from other parents. They're like, look, you don't want to scold your child. Don't scold them in public. Take them to the side. Talk to them. Even when rotan, I got no heart to rotan my kid, man. I feel like, because I know I got like, oh man, scars,
Exactly.
man, scars. But,
Exactly.
betul tak? You takut to do the same thing, but you know that after a while they're growing up. My daughter is fine. Oh, she's starting to like tell fibs, this and that. I didn't do that, and then so it's like I realized that because my wife is slightly more strict, so it's like I realized how valuable the word rotan is. They need to feel it, but don't whack them out of anger and violence. So that is when that happens. Then you will regret it after that. Immediate regret. So I mean, you have to explain to them. Sebelum rotan, you know why I have to do this, right? Maybe smile, but it might be a bit sinister.
Hey,
Right?
mobil lah, don't like that. But I feel you, man. And how
Yeah, it's hard.
parents, as we're growing up and we're trying to find the best decision for our children, we don't know what we're doing is right. All we do is we don't want to repeat mistakes. Maybe our parents treated us differently because of different times. I hold nothing against my parents for sure. And I hope I make them proud. But at the same time, we know as we grow up, the pedestal becomes shorter for our parents as we understand their problems back then, and then we think about how their reactions were, and we try to reflect on it and try not to repeat the mistakes. But honestly, I don't know whether the results are wrong or right. I think the only way we'll know is, like Mr. Chin said, when they grow old and they write a song about you. Then
Whether they're right or not. You can work out a song, hate song or love.
Let's see your t-shirt. Let's Let's
oh,
show everyone your t-shirt.
there you go.
The most parent dad in Malaysia.
Because this was by my daughter. It was her very first ever time giving out Christmas presents. So she worked a part-time job. She sold some paintings. I don't believe she sold paintings.
Wow.
How old is your daughter?
That time she was 8 years old.
What?
Oh,
She was
How
8.
did she manage to do that?
She's got a thing for
independent.
she entered a fair and she sold her artwork. Somebody actually bought it. Well done. And she said
Wow.
this was her first ever Christmas gift to me.
Oh,
Very nice.
As a
Very
macho
sweet.
father, what are you going to do? You're going to cry? You cannot cry. Mana boleh.
Can. But
you
that's the thing. The role
You're
of dad
crying in the
is
rain.
very different nowadays, kan?
Yeah. And usual daddies
last
would
time
go,
and sekarang.
usual daddies go, oh, thank you, I love you. But a bit of my father is inside me. So first thing I asked was, how much was this?
Ayo, don't
I know.
laugh.
To do one customized shirt is not cheap.
That's why when it left my mouth, I regretted it because she was like, "Oh, it's okay, it's all right. I saved money for it." So I immediately went, "You know what? This is the best gift ever."
But now I can vouch for Nas that he's a changed man, because this used to be his shirt. I'm wearing it. I don't know how I fit into it, but like everyone is entitled to my opinion. But Nas, that's his new shirt right now.
Yes.
So, I mean,
That's right. You
Aiyo,
only
okay.
listen to me.
Mr. Chin, I want to
If I
ask
can,
you.
if
What
I
do you
can
think?
just weigh in a little bit on some of the discussions there
Yes,
about
yes,
your
sure,
fathers,
sure.
and I would say that maybe they did that out of love, and they were thinking, and it's very popular during the time of the late 80s, right? You've heard of this theorist called Pavlov, and how he conditioned the dog with a whistle.
Mm,
And
yes.
so the thinking at that time of parenthood is children
Different.
should not be heard. And
Yeah.
if I can condition you this way with a rotan,
Mhm.
then you will behave in a certain way. And so that was the type of parenting at those days,
Yeah.
conditioning. And when we try to teach a child or punish a child, there are many ways to do that. The short-term way, of course, is the rotan. Usually not very effective because when the rotan doesn't work, you have to buy a bigger one, and then eventually a bigger one.
Yes, you have to
Then you run
escalate
out.
it. Yes.
And then
You run
start
out of
throwing things wherever you can.
food. So
You are
in
more
making
Chinese
the,
than Masali, bro.
in
This
making
one,
the punishment, sometimes it is to remove what they like to do. So, for example,
Mm.
oh, he likes to play PlayStation, right? Okay,
uh,
now I'm going to remove that from you. The other way
Mm.
is to also to assert, for example, you have to go and take out the garbage now. Do something they don't like. So you have
Mm.
various options of,
can I interject? Can I interject for that? Okay, this is
yeah,
based on a true story, Mr. Chin.
yeah.
So the mother is very protective, everything. And this is what the daughter did to her. So she was like being a bit of a, like early teenage, and she was a bit rebellious. The mother took her phone away from her. She locked the mother in the toilet for half a day.
What?
So
What?
you've seen cases of this happening. You've seen cases of like they stopped the kid from playing games. The kid took a chopper because I think it starts from you got to observe what are they playing. You got to see what are they. Like sometimes they're like I know like I'm guilty as charged. Like sometimes like putting the handphone there is probably the easiest thing to just like like when you're having a lunch, they're quiet, good. But I think it's important to be involved, and like this day and age, those day PlayStation, yeah, like you take away, I also be like, okay, don't take that away. But I think this day and age, because like there's so many different ways of distraction, and like you don't know where into the dark web areas that they go into, kind of weird stuff that comes in. There was a program Peppa Pig, normal Peppa Pig, and all of a sudden Peppa Pig is holding a knife, someone else did this thing, like what
So
are
scary.
you watching? So it's like it's so scary, so disturbing. So like if you ask me what strikes fear in me as a father, is these things, because those days, even like okay, child abuse, child trafficking, and so many stuff that's happening right now. It's just that it's more rampant and more like more exposed because of social media. You see this news
Yes.
firsthand into your face, and you do not know how these things are really happening. So when you mentioned about taking things, I do agree. I do agree. Like okay, you know what? Take something that they really like, and it's worked for my side, because I mean like my son, like at one stage, he's like, I want to see ABC, and then I mean, it's not a bad thing to want to see ABC, but he just wants to see this all the time. And like when you stop it, they just because they're zombified already. You take it away, it's like, oh, like drugs, It's like, oh, I need my fix, It's like, whoa.
And so
So
this
it's scary.
particular, I gotta agree with you, but can I ask you, Vince, and maybe Mr. Chip can also fill in after this.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, the biggest regret I have is my children must make mature decisions when they are not ready. Their minds are not mature enough to make many decisions, and that's why my children have no devices. They're not logged on to any devices. They have no accounts until they
good.
prove themselves trustworthy of being able to surf the internet. That means I impose certain rules. If you cannot follow them, you are not to have a device on your own. Never, never.
Mm,
They won't be having social media accounts until they're at least 12 years old. And even then, there will be close monitoring from me, because when they interact with people, you're right, Vince, they look at things that sometimes for us, we can't even fathom. Where do you find this content, And
what are you watching?
Scary. It's really scary.
so far,
It is scary.
my 10-year-old daughter has that discipline. She sees something she's not supposed to see. Either she tells me someone is posting it, or she willingly or willfully logs out. and then I have to check the log details.
Good.
You know, that's how crazy parenting is nowadays. And for them, we have to let them go sometime, and they must be equipped with the right tools to make the right decisions, even though they're not mature enough. That is my biggest regret.
Hmm.
So it's
Vince,
a
think it's the
lifelong
best.
challenge
I
for the
mean, like,
parent.
yeah,
I'll say
I mean,
that's
like,
a lifelong challenge for the parent because
Mm.
you know you really have your children for maybe I would say 16 years.
Mhm.
Okay, and at that time maybe they will go to college, they will do something, and you know for me when my children were going to high school in the US, my youngest was 16 at that time. My biggest concern was, are they going to be making the right decisions when I'm not there?
yeah.
Yes.
You know, so you have 16 years to prepare them. You can't wait until when
Right.
they are 12 years old and then start that relationship. It's not going to
Yeah.
work, you know. So also parenting is about being close to them, that you know what they're up to. If they're with devices, the devices are going to influence them. And you find out this 10 years later that, you know, all the dark web's coming out,
Too
you're
late,
not
man.
close enough. And that's
Too late.
really
Yeah.
frightening.
Yes.
So you have to establish things that will keep you together. And some of the things we do at home that work for us was to, you know, they would have extracurricular activities on a weekday, but weekends are always free for families, so that we could say, let's go Kuala Selangor. It'll be a day trip. And they are captive in the car, and we share conversations, we share
Very
things,
nice.
and that's one way you transit your values to them, you know.
Very
And
good.
sometimes when we reprimand our children, and this is the biggest mistake most parents make, they get so angry, they do some discipline, and then that's the end. And then they
Yep,
don't talk
yep.
for days. So that's really tough for the child. So typically what we do is we say, Nas, you know, today I like about you, you've been patient, but what you did just now was really wrong. And then you reprimand him for that, but you need to close it off and say, but we love you, Nas. We're doing this because we love
Yes.
you.
Yes.
That closing must be important. Because
You
if
know,
you leave the child
yeah.
for the night thinking my dad hates me, boy, that's tough for a young child.
We
So
have a comment.
process. Yeah.
We have a comment from one of our Facebook viewers. It's really challenging to be a parent for teenagers, especially when it comes to boyfriend or girlfriend issues. So
I won't have issues. I won't have
cannot
issues.
say anything.
Because my
children
daughter
are
will
small.
date at 40 years old.
Same here. Yeah. I told my dad, I told my daughter
All
that.
the
So.
daddies are like that. So, Mr. Chin, maybe you can elaborate on this issue.
Yes.
Stitching as boys, you'll be like, yeah,
I
where's your
have two
girlfriend?
boys, so slightly different a bit.
Yeah.
But you know, I've said that we have a routine where we have meals together at night, one meal a day.
Vince taking notes. Huh?
So when you have meals a day, every time you have a conversation, there's no TV around where we dine. We have no TV. So it just encourages conversation. And that conversation helps to develop a bond. And there are times, of course, their friends want to go somewhere. We want to go weekend, you know, want to go somewhere, and they say, "I got other plans with the friends." We say, "Wait, ask your friend to come join us. We'll take them out as well. If they want to go some, have spend the night over, come over to the house. We'll buy you pizza at night and all this other thing." This gives you
Oh.
into their friendships, who their friends are,
So
and
bribe lah. You need to bribe with pizza. I learned something. Bribe with pizza.
So then their friends will tell them, you know, we don't have this conversation at home.
Wow.
Mm.
Okay.
You know, and we learn something. This is valuable. You know,
Right.
and we are tight with them. You know, their friends, and some of my son's friends are still here. Chinese New Year, they still call us out. Christmas,
Very
they still
nice.
call us out. So we are still friends with them. And you know, some of their friends, when they have a funeral to attend, my son will call me and say, "My dad, you know, my friend is passed away. Will you attend for us?" We'll go. You know,
That's nice.
Nice. That's so nice.
and so you have a close bond that will last.
I think your son's friends probably can see they sense the love from your family that I'm not saying, but maybe they're not getting that from their parents. Maybe So I mean, like, not all parents would be cool to just like, hey, be my friend and all that. Because
Yeah.
there are some teenagers who be like, oh, you hang out with your dad, like, oh, like, because they don't connect with their dad. So
Yes,
Mm.
that's the
it's
truth. The
you're
truth.
you're such a wonderful man, Mr. Chin.
No, but
I
you
wish
know,
my dad. No, no. Maybe you should speak to my dad. No, too late, too late, too late.
No.
He's already a granddad.
My dad is irreplaceable. But notice that we're all bringing up our fathers.
Mm.
It's because they were our role models, and I think the modern parent must realize that you are the role model for your younger child as well.
Exactly.
So when dealing with boyfriends and girlfriends, especially if you're raising a boy, I think most important is if he's got girlfriend issues, as a man and as a father, I think the biggest thing you must impart is
Don't get her
treat
pregnant.
woman right. No, no, bro, no.
Oh my God.
It says don't get her pregnant.
Treat the lady right. That means
Yeah.
be a gentleman. A gentleman is someone who makes people around them comfortable. It doesn't matter if it's a man or woman, especially if it's a woman, and you must
Yep.
treat her like a lady. That was
Agree.
the first man talk my father gave me.
you know where
That's
the
it.
children learn this from? They learn it from how you treat your wife.
Yes,
Yes.
Mm.
that's
That's a very good point.
Very, very true.
how treat
Very,
you
very true.
treat wife
This is
and
what a man is, and that's how they pick that up. So
well, is
Yeah.
this
I think
complex, Mr. Chin?
Nas mentioned something just now where it's true, like because like we the new generation of men, we don't know that we just follow what's going on. Like we want to get involved, like clean the
Mm.
diapers, clean this and hands on as well. And then I see this older generation of aunties, and I say, wow, you see this men nowadays so good nowadays. I'm like, I don't know. Is it because it's just a different, like you mentioned, like those days they discipline kids with a whistle, and I mean like that kind of like that kind of like
Approach.
sort of like things laid out compared then and now. The landscape is just totally different.
Yeah.
I
So
mean,
I,
and
I think sometimes I feel like maybe we need to understand our parents how they were brought up by their
Mm.
parents and
Yeah.
their parents and their parents and their parents.
but when it
We
comes
have
to boyfriend,
a
I takut lah.
we have another question, guys. We have another question from our Facebook. As a dad, do you think it will be easier to connect with your son compared to daughter? What do you guys think?
I don't think I conform to that because
Mhm.
the more children you have, you will realize that everyone is different with different
Mm.
personality.
Oh,
So for me, my approach lah, I don't know whether it's 100% correct, but I focus on personalities and that's it, and values. So values is about the golden rule, treating people right,
very
be
good.
straightforward, be one with God, but
Yes,
uh,
yes.
you treat them differently. No, if my daughter likes football, and she takes
Mm.
archery, so and it's my son who likes baking. I don't know why.
That's nice.
I like
The roles are all
It's their passion. It's no
yeah.
problem. More important
yes,
is values, and gender doesn't matter really, kan?
yes.
Mm.
I like what you said, Naz, about letting them be what they are. I think fundamentally we ask this question: as a parent, are we pillars or are we a scaffolding? A pillar is something that the child clings on to. A scaffolding is something temporary.
Supports the child.
Supports the
Very
child.
strong.
We overcome that
Mm.
obstacle. We remove that scaffolding. We build some other thing, so they can grow to be to their potential. I think that's so important,
Right.
and that's about building different children differently, and giving them the opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
So
Abang
those
Nas and Vince, do you guys feel like you guys have changed as a person when the moment you became a father?
ask, ask all the friends that I don't go out at night anymore.
Itulah. I'm sure we have a lot of viewers juga. Like last time their husbands will be like going out lepak dengan kawan and also like playing games and all. And once you become a father, boom, all those time dah macam tak ada kan. So
Someone told me once that I became more intense as a person and
Ooh,
as a dad.
really?
So I was like, what do you mean? Yeah, you're always talking about them, you always overthink things, and I don't know whether I'm overthinking things, but for me, children are like sponges. Whatever you say, whatever you do, they will
Yeah.
pick it up. Even small nuances. You speak in a mean tone to your wife, they will pick it up.
Oh yes.
You know, when you're having a misunderstanding with your wife, you think, what, where are the children are? Suddenly they're so quiet, they're quietly listening, you know. So the step you're doing, they are observing and they are following, they're mimicking. So that is a big responsibility for me. Anything that goes wrong with this child, if he grows up to be a serial killer, it's my fault. So
Oh my
uh,
God. That's
yeah,
very
so
clear.
a lot of people say I've become more intense, but honestly, I think the one word I can use is humble. I really am humbled by my children.
Yes.
Vince,
Agree.
what about you?
My goodness, I think I agree with Nas. I mean, like, it's a total paradigm shift, lah. I mean, like, first of all, you say that when do men really mature? I think it's a time when if you have a child and you put yourself last, that is
Mhm.
where a man truly matures and understands the responsibility. He becomes
Mm,
a hunter. He becomes the go-getter. I wish
mm.
I was a father long time ago, lah. So hardworking now, like, so like
Agree,
really, it's
agree. I
true.
wish I got married earlier and got kids earlier. I'm a better man, and I wish I did it
Yeah.
earlier. Wow.
You become better, and I mean the thing is, understanding your children, it's a challenge, but I think, like, I agree with Nas. Whatever we say, they're gonna listen. So like,
Mm.
I've cracked one code lah, like, I know that our parents actually, they don't swear in front of us. It's not that they don't swear, they do swear, they probably did swear, it's just that you just have to watch your tongue in front. So it's like, I'll look at my parents like, I know your trick lah. This in front of us, you don't. No, but the thing is, in a good way, we stop swearing. We stop, like, I mean, like, it's not that I swear a lot, but it's like we watch what we say. We
Mm.
Mhm.
watch what we say, and it makes us better people. And then when we do see other people, like our friends or whoever that we used to mix with, and they're still like that, we're like, man. And that's why they think we are intense, but we look at them as like, you guys not matured yet, man.
Oh, you guys don't have kids, you know.
Okay, don't have kids.
They don't understand how it is, until I think no one will actually understand what it is, what is life changing, or what it is, love. What love really is, like true love is all about, until you have your own children and you have to fend for them in this crazy dark world, and you just have to be their superhero, and it makes a world of difference. I mean, it's so humbling. It's so humbling that you got your mini you, and that you sometimes see different characteristics like it. And then your wife will be like, that's like you, huh?
You
That's
know,
like
you know
you.
what the worst? You go to your parents for advice. You go to your parents for advice. I've got this problem with my son. This one.
Like you lah.
Yeah, and
You know?
one said, "Padan muka, padan muka." Wow, like, okay, I was like that. Worse.
Oh,
Uh,
yo.
So how
But,
do you?
but
you understand your parents more, right?
Yeah, definitely.
do you think that, I mean, as dads, do you find that dads have a harder time bonding compared to moms? Like, do your children go to the moms more, or in general, daddies, they don't really, well, to say, not to say you guys, but in general, the daddies out there, a lot more daddies find it a little bit harder to bond with their children. So, Mr. Chin, what do you think? Is it harder? Is it important for daddies to bond with their children?
I think it's important for children to bond differently with their mother and to their father so that we have a role,
Mm.
you know. Sometimes there are things they want to talk about, they go to their mothers, and then, but for boys, they they like to model after their fathers a bit more, they want to be more macho a bit, so there are different things. And also as a parent, it's not all gloom and doom. When my child, they were about slightly older, and cyber cafe was a big thing. They always pester me about going to cyber cafe with their friends. I said, no, no, no. One day I went to research a cyber cafe. I went in there, nobody smoking, nobody cussing, everybody on the headsets. I said, okay, let's go. Bring your friends along. And then we had food and everything. We played a game. And then there were two teenagers came up to us. There were 6 of us. They said, you want to play a game? 2 of us against 6 of you. And we said, are you sure? He said, yeah. And in 5 minutes, they beat us flat. 2 of them against 6 of us. And that was a lesson for us, that a lesson in humility. That, you think you are great, there's someone else out there who's going to be better than you. And if you think about how the influence of gambling and all that, how people can win your money, think again. You know, there are people out there who are much better than you.
Life lesson out there.
Yes, you know, everything has a life lesson. So they take back, and till today we talk about it. You know, 6 of us, we have 6 times more assets than the 2 guys. To be this.
But what I really found the story surprising is there was no swearing at the cyber cafe. Which cyber cafe you go to got no swearing?
Maybe those days.
This one, no smoking.
Online, you can't see.
Well, to be fair, I know Vince family. You know, you probably were raised in a family, no swearing, this and that. My father is from Malacca, so swearing is second nature. So he did swear, but that's where mother came in, because every time he would swear, mother would say, "Mom, stop it." And so, although he did swear, kids, we realized that what dad is doing is wrong, and mom is really upset. And then we grew up with that, and we learn to impart it to our children, lah. That's it.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I hope so.
We have another comment. Saraswati, I'm very protective when it comes to my children. Is that fine? Okay, when we talk about protective, macam how protective are we?
Join the club, Saraswati.
The key question it's natural for parents to be protective of their children. But the key question is, whatever they're doing, is it age appropriate for them? Is it age appropriate? Now, if he's 10 years old, should he be able to mingle with his friends? Should he be able to go and play football? Should he be able to do certain things? Now, because learning is such that, Lev Vygotsky, one of the theories in development, says that we only learn when we encounter an obstacle. You know, they call it zone of proximal development. And most of the time, you know, when you look back at your own lives, you went through a hard time. You know, you went through a challenge when you were in college or when you're alone. And then when you reflect on it, you've discovered how to overcome that problem. And once you overcome that problem, either someone did wrong to you and you overcame that, you become better. And then it becomes easier and easier and easier.
But for parents, it's striking that balance, Mr. Chin. You know, when is it too much? When is it too little? I want to protect my child, but at the same time, he must learn from his mistakes. Where do you draw the line?
So for example, I had a child, a parent came to see me, said, I want to move the seating of my child because the boy next to her is complaining. He's saying she doesn't like her bag. The bag looks awful, and the child feels disappointed. You know, this boy always giving him a hard time. So I said, well, we can move that child, but do you want to try something else? How about we tell your daughter, it's okay. If you don't like my bag, it's okay. My mother loves it. I love it. My best friend loves it. Okay. So we arm the child.
Confidence. I think that brings out the confidence in the child.
Right. So when she does it once, she does it twice. Somebody is nasty to her. She just says, "Okay, it's okay that you don't like it, but my best friends love it. My parents love it, and that matters to me." So we have to arm the child with how to counter situations like this.
I need to add something to that. Sorry. Naz, you want to say something?
No, please carry on.
Okay, so like when I was a child, I got bullied severely in primary
Vanessa
school.
told us last week.
Big time. So she's probably sorry for you guys who are listening to it twice, But I fear for my daughter. I fear for my son. And now that I think it's important for parents to know that if your kid hates going to school, all of a sudden I don't want to go to school, you gotta understand there must be something wrong. Need to ask them, is everything okay? Because I will keep quiet until I went back home with blue blacks and all that, because first of all, I was a different looking kid because I didn't look like, I'm probably because I was a clear example of like those days. There's not many people who look like mix or like they're like what are you, and then like because I don't know what it is, but kids can be cruel. I would say that because I'm not going to say the word racist or anything because this is kids can be cruel because what didn't help was I was a large kid and all that, so I got bullied and all that, and so my fear is, of course, I need to prepare my daughter and to really make sure that if I see something that's not right, I think it's important for parents to ask and all that, because even like these days, parents are slightly more, I would say, doubtful, because like the slightest thing, teacher, take ruler, hit your hand now. What go there and start to, why you hit my son and all that. I think we got really big time. Like I'm sure Mr. Chin, like those days, the discipline, anywhere they can pull, they pull. Here sideburn, pull up, pinch stomach, twist, all the things. You probably in today's day and age will be a TikTok move. It's crazy. So I mean, for me, my fear has always been about the bullying thing. I was really destroyed as a kid, and I hated going to school. And the fact that I feel that another thing that I want to talk about, I think the education system is a failure. You know why? Number one, people like me, I'm on the art side. Now, if you were to teach mathematics, you should be able to come up with a system that can teach the same mathematics in a different way for this kind of group of people, so that they go to school not feeling stupid and getting their fathers whack the head like, so zai, don't know your maths. And I would just think that I'm dumb. But growing up, I'm like, hey, I'm actually not that stupid, because like I learned differently. Like my sister sacrificed 1 year because my mother got injured. So she had to stay back, and we ended up being in the same class together in college. So she's a study type lah. I was like last minute, I was like, she said tomorrow exam. I was like, tomorrow exam. Okay. So we're doing marketing. So Vanessa wanted to practice her marketing. So she started reading her points. And I'm not kidding you. I got distinction just from listening, because I was just listening. So that was my way of like absorbing different, and she was just very animated the way she said things like, So for me, I feel that one thing I wish, I know it's a sidetracking a bit, whatever, but I think education matters, and our kids will go through that education still has to come to a point where they need to figure out a better way to educate different kind of people the way they think, because they're going to get different kind of, in society you're going to come out like, your math's lousy and you're stupid.
If I can tie both Vince's point and Mr. Chin's point, I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all solution. In terms of education, different children are different. So if you go through road learning, you will definitely learn one system only. So that's the weakness. For Mr. Chin, I feel that, it's good to give confidence to a kid, but you must know your children. Different children will have different personalities. Some will be more shy than others. Some will be more gutsy than others. Some will show their insecurity by being extra gutsy. So you got to learn to tone it down. Some will be more shy, so you will give them more confidence to step up. So, is there one size fit all, Mr. Chin?
I think when it comes to bullying, it needs to be brought up, okay? And for the child being bullied, we have to train the child to say, look, if someone does something to you, you don't like it, say this, stop it. And I want you to say it loud and strong and mean it. Stop it. Stop it, and then tell your teacher. The two of you need to come together and tell the boy what he did wrong. He shouldn't do that, okay? You shouldn't do this to your friend, because you won't have friends anymore. And this is not nice. You hurt your friend's feeling. So there's healing among the two. The person, the aggressor, knows what he did wrong, and the person that's weak learns to overcome that conflict. So at the end, they both know where the mistakes are. So if you go to a school where all good boys, you don't learn to overcome this conflict. So sometimes you have a mix of different people. Then
I agree.
You have a school.
It makes you a stronger person, actually.
Help them overcome. So the more obstacles you overcome, the more prepared you are. And I think that's same thing. If you don't learn this, you go to the workplace and you feel you're being bullied. That's stress. And sometimes children don't learn this because they're very protected at home. They go to college. And this is the other thing. Sometimes we build a relationship with our children based on academic results. You do well, I love you. You don't do well. If your relationship is just built on academics, and when the child is in a university somewhere, she failed her class, she has nowhere to go to. She feels she's lost that relationship with you.
Wow, thank you so much.
Mr. Chin.
That means that sometimes you hear people taking their lives because they don't have that bonding anymore. So, and parents like us, right? We feel we want to be protective. We feel that we want to be there for them. There are times when a parent cannot be there. When they go overseas, when they are working out overseas. And so one of the things that Nas brought up was very relevant, that we have faith we have believe in our own gods, and that we have to impart this with our children, so that when they are away, they
All
have
values.
they have that value. They have someone to go to, and that takes some of our burden away.
So,
Uh,
Mr. Chin, as a teen, your sons, when they first become a teenager, was it challenging or not? Like, because I got a lot of advice from parents who like have a teenager kids and all that, and they're like, better enjoy this time now, huh? You better enjoy time now. I'm like, what's gonna happen? So I mean, like, for you, because your kids are like gone past the teenager, writing songs for you and all that, So like, what what was it for you? Like, was it challenging for you? Like, how do you handle it? I really want to know this part.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we all do. I think we all do.
So I have plenty of hobbies. I love cars. I love photography. I love hi-fi. I have many hobbies. So when your child, especially a boy, get them involved in a hobby. Let them develop their own competencies, and join them. And I played the guitar for a while. When I got my children to start, I went to music school with them. My younger son was very good. In fact, 4 years ago,
What's that?
What's that, Nas?
I agree with the Chin. This is my
Oh,
family's.
nice.
We
Yes.
love Lego, so we build Lego.
Oh,
Oh,
Lego?
Lego.
Yeah, Lego.
It's Lego.
Nice.
Closer.
Yeah, it's built with Lego, bro.
Oh, now I see that. Wow, there's a lot of Legos, bro.
Yeah. So this is a sort of bonding that I do with my children. First
very
to build
good.
friends, to know what kind of people they are, and I think this is the sort of thing that Mr. Chin is trying to impart. Just do things together and build that bonds together, like Lego lah, building together.
Yeah.
So
Yo, ada juga.
you, if you have young children, find a sport that you can do together as a family. So a sport like a racket sport is difficult because you have better strength than they do. So you will win. So it's not fun for us guys, right? We get bored. But something like rollerblading is a sport that a family can do because for them they are lower, they're shorter. It's easy for their balance.
But Mr. Chin,
We're back. We're back.
Oh yeah.
my knees cannot take it.
Kind of different.
There's one thing I noticed. Like my daughter, she started this baby gym, and then she throws the ball, and she's showing me like, Daddy, look, and she throws and she claps and she catch it. So part of me wanted to do like, I can clap 4 times lah, but before catching the ball. But part of me felt, no, I want to try this, and I threw it, and I missed the ball, and it went down. Like, oh, I can't catch it. And the joy on the face, like, oh, Daddy, that's not how you do it. I think it's good to encourage them, to show them, look, instead of competing with them, it's to like, if they learn a new skill, I think it's good to like make you look like you got to see that, wow, their skill is really working, and let them teach you. So I think like the relationship that I've started with my kids, I think is like, even my son come curious, that sometimes even I'm busy working, he will come in like, touch this or that. I say, so if you want to touch everything, okay, you sit here, you see Daddy do work. Then you sit. You just sit. You press that. I said, no, don't press that. Okay, you want to press it? Now you can press this one. Pop. Then you hear the music moving. It's like, oh, then he was. So for me, it's like, part of me feels like, not now. But part of me have to control and like, okay, come sit down. And I think, and then it works much better. You
know, Dad and Vince, you have a thing coming for you. You wait for this time. Just like my kids, right? Because
Scary time.
when they were teenagers, they brought back a yo-yo, right? And this yo-yo has flashing lights.
Uh-huh.
I looked at it as if I didn't know what this device was. And then they tell me, Dad, this yo-yo is not like your time, going up and down. This yo-yo can walk the dog, all that. So he started showing me.
Walk it down.
I said, can I see?
I remember that. No, I remember that. Yo-yo, I remember.
Loop the loop. I'm going to call my friends to come and see.
Wait, Mr. Chin, did you learn to play the yo-yo?
Yo-yo for you. And then you're going to pretend, how do you use this? That's your time.
Right. They're gonna come to us and make us look like sincerely we would really try and figure it out. That my goodness, man, you're right. You're absolutely right. My dad is doing that to me now. But my dad always
light bulb in your eyes.
my dad will always do like, like he will be the one to look up to, because he's brilliant. He's a brilliant man, everything. Now he's like, because he will see me post, because I post certain things, and then like I like to do all this editing and all that. Then be like, how you do that? How you do how you put the character and then the tree behind it? How you do that? So it's like, oh, my son is doing something that I can't do. What is this? But at the end, it became a better relationship. Like, he started learning from me, and I was happy to teach him. And it was just so nice, I mean, like, and I think if you say that my daughter or son, are gonna reach a stage where they're gonna like, Daddy, look at this thing. It's a madangalong or something, like whatever, It's like, whoa, it spins this way. So I used to have that. Used to be called a cup, It's like,
Okay, guys, I think you guys have pretty much answered all my questions without even me asking them. So I just want to ask last words from all the daddies, because it's been an hour and we didn't even realize it. It was a really, really good chat. But last words from all the daddies and also from Mr. Chin.
Vince, go Vince.
So, parents, I just got one thing to tell you. Like, if your kids mess up, I got a neat trick for you to learn. Make it fun. Everything, make it fun for them. Like I do this, like, wow, so messy. Oh, I wonder if I do magic, I'm gonna close the door, I come back, I'm gonna see magic, right? And then I do that, and I'll come and it's all clean. And they're so excited to show that. Instead of getting angry, I think like, and also like, have firm love. Don't be too taufu, but firm love. Explain to them, make them understand why you're disciplining them. And like, I think what Mr. Chin said it earlier, just the crucial stage is the early stage of bonding.
Yeah, I'm going to try your trick later on. I want to see if it works.
It works. For the younger kids, like,
well, I don't have any tips and tricks that are unique. I'm still a learning parent. No way am I a figure of authority, but if
But you have 3 kids. I have 2 pun dah pening, so
no way. So if I have 3, other people have 6. That's sort of. I don't think the number matters, but what matters is that moment when they come to you for something, and you may be in the middle of something, you may be in the middle of creating an idea or editing or singing or whatever, but give them the time they need. And it doesn't matter how much the time, it's that quality of the time. If you're sitting down at dinner and you're looking at your phone and all the kids are like trying to get your attention, that's not giving your all. If I know people are working from home, so on and so forth, and it's difficult, but when your child needs something from you and you can't give it now, go back to them and ask them what it is. Be there for them, because as they grow up, you lose certain things. My daughter's already not hugging me as much as him anymore.
I cry even the thought of that. I cry. I always tell Eva, you better love me forever. I don't care.
I do that. I do some emotional blackmail as well. So now,
man,
because she just got her menses, so she's feeling a bit weird, And luckily, my wife is here. To those who are single parents doing this, you are doing the hardest thing in the world, doing the role of 2 people. So you need to have double the patience. So patience is what I'd like to impart. Just whatever it is that's making you angry, just hold it back, because if you let it out on your child, you're going to regret it.
Yeah. Mr. Chin?
Yeah, I think we just shared this just now. Lily, you said you had 2 children and then Naz with more children. So a mother was once asked, I have 2 children, how do you manage how do you divide your time among all these children? And she said to them, hang on, you're looking at this wrong. You don't divide, you multiply your love. And that's how it works.
Right. That's wonderful.
Must come from a place of love,
Yeah, and I also think like parenting is a partnership. It's not just yourself. It's not just you and your spouse. It's also the teachers, the grandparents, and all the caretakers that are in the children's life as well. So thank you so much, everyone, for being with me today.
Thanks for the invitation.
Daddy Beans, Abang Nas, and Mr. Chin, thank you so much for being on the show. I learned a lot for today.
Thanks, Bang Nas.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chin. Sifu, thank you, Sifu.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Happy Father's Day, and Dad,
Happy
be good
Father's
to
Day,
your
yes.
wife.
This
Support your
Sunday.
wife. If you have to do something, do it just for peace sake. Okay.
I just want to be left alone for Father's Day. Boleh tak? Just be left alone.
Alone,
Don't disturb me.
Okay, bye everyone.
Bye.
Bye guys, that's fun. Bye.